I'd like to take a moment and rebut some of the comments made by Eli, the computer guy, in the video you just watched. Ubuntu has grown up a bit since that video was made by the computer guy. He made that video in 2010, now it's 2016, and things have changed both for Ubuntu and for Windows. Windows 7, as described, is a very good, stable desktop environment. I dual boot this desk side server, which is, I'll show you what the machine is. This is a machine known as Königsberg. Runs a AMD Athlon processor, 8 gig of memory. That's a 64-bit OS install. So it's good. Ubuntu runs very well on this machine for a desktop. There are tools available now in the Linux environment that you can also get in the Microsoft environment. For instance, one of the things that I use a lot is LibreOffice. So it has a document writer, the equivalent of Word, a spreadsheet, the equivalent of Excel, this Impress presentation, which is the equivalent of PowerPoint, a drawing tool, a formula tool, and even a database that you can use. So that is available, and it works well. There are a number of tools that are available that have equivalents in the Microsoft world. There were tools that we used in the IBM environment to grab screen captures. Those are available. There was an audio recording tool that we used quite a bit called Audacity. That's available. The tool that I'm using right now to capture the screen is something called Kazam. You can see how that works. It's actually up and running right now, because how am I going to capture this if it isn't? There's a number of things, audio recorders, odds and ends. This UNIX allows you to rip CDs. CDs, what's that? I do have a tool that I use quite a bit. It's Clementine. Let me drop the volume here and give you a hint of this. I use this all the time. The radio pickup, this Bavarian radio station and Swedish radio station. Of course, there's all sorts of other things available. Got a library that has tons of music in it, that type of thing. Photo tools are available. The photo tools are kind of entertaining. Adobe Photoshop has gone into the cloud, and I know a number of photographers that are quite concerned about their livelihoods being in the cloud. But there are a number of tools in the Linux environment that are useful. The photographers I know actually use Macs. They don't use Windows. But there are tools available in Windows and Mac that aren't available in the Linux environment. So that's something you'd have to take into account. But there's a kind of a Lightroom equivalent that I use called Lightzone. It's also available in the Windows environment, and it's open source. And Lightzone, let's reset this and get it up and running. Let's go. There we go. It should be up and running. It successfully reset its settings. It's going to bring up this product. The one thing with Lightzone is it doesn't run on an open source. Does not run on an open source of Java. It requires Sun's Java, or actually Oracle's Java now, to run successfully. This is a folder with a ton of If I can get to 2011, here we go, 9/11. Here we go. I'll show you what this thing can do just real quick. It's going to bring up this folder. There's quite a bit in it. You can see there's more in here than you can shake a fist at, actually. So, interesting tool. Lets you do a number of things. You can edit images, effects, styles, odd impact. We'll bring up this. We'll jump the highlights down a bit, darken this scene, or lighten it, depending on how you want to do it. There we go. It should be full dark. Now it goes full wonky. Okay. Isn't that special? Up the detail, which will get it frizzy. So there's, it's a good tool. It's available, and if you're into editing photos, it's not bad. Don't save what I just screwed up. Okay. So my 2 cents is it better than Windows 7? Well, if there are particular pieces of software that you use in Windows 7 that you do not have available in a Linux environment, use Windows 7. Is it better than Windows 8? As far as I'm concerned, almost anything's better than Windows 8. XP's better than Windows 8, but you didn't hear me say that. Is it better than Windows 10? I don't have enough time with Windows 10 to tell you that for sure. But I've been using Linux for a number of years. I enjoy Linux. It's easy for me to use. Part of that is because I've been around the command line for as long as I have. Again, terminal are right here available to you at any time. So once you get used to the isn't that special, caps lock. So once you get used to the command line, it's sitting right there. It's waiting for you. Everything you can do basically on the command line's available. Even on the desktop is okay. The GUI's okay, but in the grand scheme of things, the command line came first. And once you become comfortable using the command line, you'll find yourself using it more and more often. So, what do I intend to tell you? I would tend to tell you that there are a number of good Linux distributions out there that make the desktop easier to use than even 5 or 6 years ago. So things have changed since 2010. I particularly like Ubuntu because it's stable. It seems to have quite a bit of available software. It is easy to use. It's easy to administer. Would I tell you to do that if you've been using Windows all your life? Well, it's something that you're going to have to answer for yourself, but I really do like Linux. So take the earlier suggestion from Eli, the computer guy, with a grain of salt, because things have changed. So I'm going to finish this, and we'll talk to you next week.